So you want to learn how to pack 50% smaller so that you can travel either lighter or you can travel with more stuff, right? My goal for you here today is to learn to fit more clothes into your bag without looking bad. You won't run out of clothes and you'll always be prepared for whatever your trip throws at you. And avoid those typical packing mistakes. You know, those last minute mistakes where you end up running back into the house and picking up an item and then running back out there. You won't do that after you learn this stuff, alright? So I have developed this method over the past 11 years as I've been traveling all over the world. Obviously, I've been sharing this on YouTube with over 12 million people at this point. My name is Tor and today I'm going to show you my 3 steps to packing light and properly. So first of all, this is going to work for any trip. It's going to work for any like variation of trip. So whether you're going to a wedding or if you're going out hiking, the steps are going to be exactly the same. We're just going to modify it to fit your exact travel style. And no, you don't need to be a minimalist to do this. This is going to work if you just want to have tons and tons of clothes. I am kind of a lightweight traveler. As you probably know, I travel with quite a small bag. But I want to show you how to take all your clothes that usually fits in something like this, and we're gonna put it more into this instead. Yes, it works. Just watch and learn. So the first thing that I'm gonna teach you here is to pack with purpose, and I will go over how to put together the wardrobe that you're gonna pack. And then thirdly, I'll show you my most space-saving packing methods. So this is kind of a 3-step process. Don't skip over any of it. You're gonna learn a lot throughout this video. So I would just want to let you know that before I learned this packing with purpose stuff, I used to travel quite heavily as well. I was always one of those people. I was a little bit unsure, like, you know, like second guessing. Once I was like gotten into the car, I started stressing out if I've forgotten something or like panicking a little bit. Maybe, oh, I don't know if I have everything I need, but what if I get to my destination and this and that happens? Oh, I don't know. But once I actually started to plan out my trips a little bit better, this disappeared entirely. So it's not all about packing light for me. It's more about like packing smart, if that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, you're about to understand why. Because the first thing that we're going to do here is that we're going to start researching our trip ahead of time. So you don't need a lot of time before you do this. It takes usually me like, it depends on the length of the trip, but usually max 10 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll hop onto the web and I'll put in my destination. So I'm going to use my trip to Vietnam earlier this year as like the example that I used throughout this video. Now for a trip to Vietnam, I knew that it was going to be quite varied in both temperature and like the climate as you go from south to north. So what I did is I figured out, first of all, when monsoon season was. So I checked out like historical weather. That way I knew that, okay, from like May until, I don't know, August or something, it was monsoon season. But I was there in January, so I didn't need to worry that much about rain. But I still checked the weather forecast and like the historical weather throughout the country. And that made me realize that, you know what, I'm still gonna need that rain jacket. It's gonna be raining on me, so I need to prepare for that. The other thing that I figured out ahead of time was the temperature, so that I could figure out, do I need to pack thin clothes? A little bit warmer clothes? Do I need a jacket in addition to all this? Obviously, if you don't, if you're going somewhere and you don't need a thick jacket, that's going to save so much space in your bag just out the gate, right? But I'm going to show you some hacks that you can use to actually skip over the thick stuff altogether here later on, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, once I had all that figured out, I started to make a list of the things that I was going to do on a trip. So say that you're going on a trip like I was, which was primarily a motorbike trip, but I also wanted to take my computer because you see, like I make these videos and put them out to you guys. So I need to be able to work on the road as well. So I'd write down all these activities I had planned. Yeah, okay, I need to go on a motorbike trip. Then I probably need some gloves, helmet, some protective gear just to be safe. And also, I probably want to go swimming. Yeah, I probably want to go out and have some nice dinners. Wrote all these activities down. Because what this allows us to do is that we can reference back to this once we start putting together the wardrobe that we're actually going to wear throughout the trip, right? The other thing that we need to do while we are preparing the research phase is that we actually need to decide on what bag we need to or want to bring. So obviously, to a certain degree, this is going to be personal preference. If you like to have a big checked bag, that's totally cool. If you like to size down into a personal item or like carry-on, I'm going to show you how to do that since we're going to save so much space throughout this video. But the most important thing that we can do is to actually check with the airline how big a bag we can bring, because this is going to vary a lot depending on the airline. Some airlines are super strict about this. You're like, oh, you need to be within these inches or you have to overpay through the nose for all this stuff. Other airlines are more flexible, but in either case, we want to make sure that we're within these measurements, and that goes double for the carry-ons. They're usually the most strict with those. Weight-wise, they're quite strict with the checked bag as well. But what I've done for you is that I put together like this huge resource over on my website. I'll link that in the video description. Over there, I found all the most popular airlines. I wrote out all the measurements and weights, and yeah, you're gonna like that. In either case, you can still go to like the individual websites for the airline if you don't want to use my thing as well. But once you have all this stuff, we have so much to work with. And just this alone has helped my students save so much baggage space because they know what they need to be packing for, right? You just don't pack blindly anymore. And this is going to remove a lot of that last minute anxiety for you. But let's hop over to the second step that we need to do, and that is to create my layered travel capsule wardrobe. Yes, this is my favorite packing technique, and this saves so much space. And I can already hear some of you are saying, Thor, what on earth? Capsule wardrobe? No. I like my clothes. I'm not gonna start like restricting myself with a friggin' capsule, and that is totally cool. You're still gonna learn a ton about packing from this section, even if you want to fill your bag up. I know a lot of you like that, but if you're anything like me, you don't like that. In either case, what is a capsule wardrobe? It is essentially a set amount of clothes that go well with each other. So say this jacket here, it needs to go well with the rest of my clothes, like all the rest of my clothes. And the same thing goes for the other ones. So this shirt, it needs to go well with my pants, it needs to go well with my jackets, so that I can interchange these. So yeah, most of your clothes needs to go with each other. What this allows you to do is have endless choices for your wardrobe with a significantly smaller amount of clothes. And it is so cool because you can create so many outfits, right? You never have that, oh, I want to wear this shirt, oh, but it doesn't go with anything. Why did I bring this? I should have brought that instead. No, you'll be prepared in either case. And since we're going out traveling, we're adding an extra kind of nuance to this, I suppose. And that is to have clothes that serves multiple purposes. If you just want to pack smaller but more, this doesn't play as big a role. But if you want to downsize to traveling with something like this, which is what I generally travel with, 22 liters right there, then we need to think a little bit about the purposes that the clothes that we actually pack serve, right? So some of my personal favorites are going to be, this is a great example. So this is just a simple pair of running shorts. But what's so cool about them is that I can use them for backup sleepwear, I can use them for swimming, I can use them for exercise, I can use them for just lounging around at the accommodation, and in a pinch I can even wear them outside as like, well, my other clothes are in the wash, right? So it has so many purposes. Same thing goes with jeans, super easy to dress up, dress down. They serve so many different purposes, right? You can wear them to a restaurant, you can wear them in. If they're a little bit worn in as well, you can wear them on the flight without feeling uncomfortable. Other favorite, typical neck gaiter or a buff. It's just like a little thing like this, but it's so useful because I can wear it as like a scarf, I can wear it as an eye mask, face mask, to rob a bank or something. I can wear it as a hat. You know, the possibilities are just endless with this. But my point is that the more versatile it is, the less like different types of stuff you need to use. Keep in mind that you still need to wash it though, and that's another thing. Like the less stuff you bring, the more frequently you need to wash your clothes. But that's not generally a problem, at least not on longer trips, because you'll need to wash in either case. If you're going on a short trip, there are advantages to just packing enough outfits for each day as well. But in any case, let's get back to it. The other thing that you need to know is that if you have some special activities planned, the more versatile your gear is in terms of, for example, if I'm going out to a hike, can I use some of the pants for hiking as well as just daily wear? That cuts down on the amount of clothes you need as well. If you're going to a wedding, can you wear that blazer or that dress outside the wedding by dressing it down. You get my point. The more uses it has, the better. On top of this, we're gonna add in one more step to this called layering. Layering is the best kept secret to travel ever. It's gonna allow you to save so much space. Layering, if you don't know, it's putting multiple layers of clothes outside each other. This has the effect that if you have one base layer, for example, and then you have a jacket like this outside, the space between the jacket and your innermost layer creates like a little bubble of sorts, and that's going to help keep you warm. So if you put another layer on top of that as well, that's going to increase the same effect. This allows you to pack less, because instead of having, for example, a thick jacket, what you can do instead is have a shirt. You can have a mid layer. You can wear something like this. This is just the standard puffer jackets, which are also amazing for travel, by the way, because they pack up so small and they look quite all right. Some of them look quite good, I think, like this one. They're going to keep you super warm. Same thing with this rain jacket, just a shell jacket, takes up no space, but it allows you to go into the snow. It allows you to go in the rain without having to pack thick jackets and such. And I will say the same about the shoes as well. The more versatile your shoes is, the better. My personal favorite are going to be just typical black trainer shoes, because you can dress them up quite significantly without having to bring dressier shoes. But of course, it depends. If you prefer bringing multiple pairs of shoes, just know that they are quite bulky, but you can stuff them full of clothes as well. Anyway, let's use this example for my Vietnam trip here. So we knew that we would need the rain jacket, right? And we saw that it could get quite cold there up in the mountains. But usually, I don't think we need to pack a puffer jacket for that only instance there. I would rather have that space for something else instead. So with all this I've been teaching you up until now in mind, I have put together all my clothes that I brought on the trip here. As you can see, it's quite a sparse amount of clothes, but this is realistically all you need. So since we knew that we were going into not rainy season, but we saw that it was going to rain, I'm going to bring my rain jacket and my rain pants there. Now this is going to be a motorbike trip as well, so I would need some protection. So I'm bringing my own gloves because I like them quite a lot. But the helmet, it takes up so much room. And you know what? If this was only motorbiking exclusively trip, I would probably have brought my helmet as well. But since it takes up so much space and I want to try to fit everything into a small bag, I'm just going to forgo the helmet and rent one when I get there, just to save some space for the trip back and forth. But you can see here, in addition to this, I have packed quite a dark wardrobe, pants, and one pair of shorts that goes with all the different types of tops that I'm bringing. I decided to forgo the thick jacket as it didn't look like it was going to be that cold for the trip. I have brought one long sleeve shirt just in case, as well as 2 t-shirts, 3 I guess. And that's really what I personally like to bring, because I wash usually twice a week. That way I always have clean clothes and I can keep a small bag. But obviously you can go far beyond this if you want to. But I'm going to teach you how to fold up your clothes in this style. That's the third step. I also have underwear and socks, but I usually roll those in with the other clothes so that it's super easy to organize, because it doesn't really affect the capsule that much, because the underwear and socks you don't see, and then it's just the overshirt, and that is so easy to mix and match. Also brought an extra pair of short hair. Like I said, I love to have one of these so that I can wear them for different types of stuff. In addition to this, I have one pair of joggers here. I don't have black ones, but I don't anticipate going to any really nice restaurants. So these joggers I'm going to be wearing throughout most of the trip, to be honest with you. Also a belt, buff, and sunglasses are quite handy to have with me. So this covers all our needs. We are covered for the cold temperatures, we're covered for the warm temperatures, all with layering. Looks quite good. I mean, it's kind of dark, but it's a motorbike trip, so I kind of like the dark colors as well when I'm traveling, because they don't look as dirty if you get stains on them and stuff. Obviously, they start smelling just as fast as any other clothes, so keep that in mind. Alright, so the next step here is going to be to pack all this. I'm also going to show you how to pack your toiletries, electronics, and documents effectively. But let's start out with the clothes, because that's the most fun, and that's what's going to help you save the maximum amount of space as well. So first of all, personally, I recommend compression packing cubes. This isn't essential at all, but it is quite nice to have. Let me just put my shoes back on the floor because I will be wearing those on a travel day. In addition to this, a plastic bag is so handy to have on hand because you can put your dirty clothes into this and then it won't like mix with your clean clothes, or if something gets wet, it won't make the other stuff wet. Just a simple grocery store plastic bag, amazing stuff. It's not that environmentally friendly, but you know what? Nor is making your clean clothes dirty without having to. So we're gonna start here by taking our t-shirt and placing it down with the front side facing up like so. And we're gonna put together a travel roll much like this one. So this is gonna work with dresses as well as shorts for that matter, but I prefer to do this type of roll with tops, and then we keep the bottoms separate from the roll, right? So why? Because now we can keep underwear, socks, and our tops together in the same like packed up roll. That allows us to keep it more organized as well as compress it down without spending so much time on folding all of these individual items into compressed rolls. So put the underwear down on top of your t-shirt and then put the socks next to each other like this as well. You want to make sure that it's like within the middle section of your top. So next up, we're going to take our arms and we're just going to fold that in on both sides like this, so that we create a nice line going down the length of the top. And I'm going to flip the bottom of the t-shirt under the rest, so like that. Now you see that the underwear here, it doesn't fall out. Very important. Next, we're going to split the t-shirt into 4 parts from side to side. So we take 1/4 and we fold that in like this. And then we repeat that on the other side as well like this. So now we created a nice rectangle here. And I'm just going to turn this around so that I have the color facing me, because it's a little bit easier to roll up like this. Now you can roll this super tight if you want to. That's going to save you even more space. I don't generally do that because it compresses the clothes unnecessarily much, but you can do that if you want to save even more space. So like this, and all the way up. And then once you make it to the end here, we're going to lift it up like this, and we're going to flip this part that we flipped underneath at the start over the roll like this. First on one side, then we turn it around and we repeat on the other side like this. Now, if this is your first time doing it, it may look like a little bit mushed up. So just put your thumbs inside the roll here and kind of even it out. Make sure that it doesn't fall off as you do this. But yeah, just straighten it out and make it look beautiful. This is going to hold together super well, and it's quite compressed now as well. Now, you don't need to do it this advanced. You can do this with most of your clothes, other clothes as well. Like for example, with shorts, you can do it. But yeah, I'm going to show you here. It's a little bit more hassle with shorts, so like this, and you can do it with pants as well. But I feel like it's most important to do with the actual roll like this. So here you can see the result of that. So next up here is that we're gonna organize this into our bag. Like I said, I like to use packing cubes. You don't have to, you can put it directly into your bag. It's gonna be so neat and organized still. And if you don't want to do the compression roll that I showed you, simple rubber band or something works quite well. I would use hair ties instead of just typical rubber bands, because they have a tendency to wear quite heavily on the fabric, while these are quite protected as well. So even if you don't have long hair anymore now, you still have a reason to use these hair ties. You can use these smaller ones as well, but just be aware that they're going to rip apart easier than the bigger ones. This is quite useful for a lot of different gears. I use it a lot for my electronics as well, to keep the cords from like unraveling. Here on the belt you can see it's quite nice, but I always wear my thickest clothes on the travel day, so realistically I'm going to be wearing this and the shoes and probably a long sleeved shirt as well, because the more of the heavy stuff that you actually wear, the more you can actually keep out of your bag, thereby fitting more inside on the travel days as well, right? Don't take this too far or you're going to get very hot as you are on the plane, but it is a way to go about it, right? All right, so let me just bring out my packing cubes here. The way I like to do it is that I put all my tops into one packing cube. just to organize it, but that's not a requirement at all. So let's do it like this, and then we have one of these. And there we have a beautifully organized packing cube. You can close it up. Even we could probably take the motorbike gloves and put in here as well. Actually on top of that, because that will be least frequently used. You see I already have a plastic bag. Yeah, so these are rolled up nice. Now, if you have compression packing cubes, I'm going to show you an amazing extra step that's going to save you even more space. Or a trick, and trick is just closing up the compression packing cubes, but it's quite amazing. So this is the result. Obviously this packing cube is packed to the brim. This may actually be a little bit too much. I would probably not pack it this full, but it does work. Let's have a look here at this one that is packed normally. So this is just 4 tops, 3 undies and 6 socks inside. See how much easier it is to close it up to when it's not too full. Like that. And if it looks kind of weird, you can just press it a little bit. Oh yeah, and we have the gloves inside here too. And there we have it. And this is so easy because now we can take our bag wherever we placed it and just put the packing cubes into the bag. And then when we arrive at the destination, right, we don't need to start digging into our bag or suitcase. We just take out the packing cube, you know, ta-da, good to go. Anyway, I said I was going to show you how to do this with electronics and toiletries as well. All right, so that's the clothes. Now let's have a look at electronics, toiletries, as well as your documents. So you can see here I have laid out my electronics bag, so I suppose we're going to start with that. I like to use a dedicated like soft bag like this, because it molds a little bit, so it fits inside little crevices and spaces inside your luggage. So it doesn't use any extra space if you haven't filled it up entirely. You can see the ones that I like to use have different compartments so that the cables don't get tangled together and messed up. And it's super easy to pick them out when you need them. In addition to this, I always keep documents along with the electronics because it is kind of the same requirements, right? They need to be dry and they are quite valuable, so you need to take a lot of care with them. So keeping electronics and important documents as well as money. Actually, this is Vietnamese money, so that's quite fitting for since we're going on a Vietnamese motorbike trip right now. So electronics is quite easy. Always bring just what you need, not more. By the way, laptop sleeve or like iPad sleeve, also quite a nice place to put documents. Tor, why do you have a 13-inch laptop sleeve and your laptop is 15-inch? I haven't gotten a new one yet, okay. Yeah, the only thing you need to be aware of is like power banks under 100 watt hours, and they always need to be with your other electronics to bring on a flight. Besides that, nothing really of note. Let's have a look at the toiletries. There is some more fun stuff. So let's start out with like the dangerous objects first of all. So the things you need to be aware of is sharp stuff. So single blade razors, you can bring like the tool, but the actual blade itself, that can't go with you on a carry-on. So that would need to go in a checked bag if you're going to bring it. Also like scissors and stuff, any blade that is under, I think it's 6 centimeters, and like half an inch, like a little bit more than a centimeter, you can't bring as a carry-on. And here's kind of the thing. I have stopped bringing them even if they're within the requirements because I keep getting stopped at security and it takes extra time, so I've just stopped doing that. Always go with small items for your liquids, so under 100 milliliters, and then it's so easy to just put them inside like a mesh see-through toiletries bag, because that way you don't need to empty it out into the plastic containers, because since they're see-through, it's fine with security if you just keep them like this. So I keep one mesh bag and then I put it inside another mesh bag just to organize it further. Besides that, another quick hack I suppose I could share with you is if you bring like alcohol-based deodorant, antiperspirant, you can rub that on the soles of your shoes and it's going to remove all the smell from the shoes as well, thereby allowing you to bring less shoes. Yeah, remember to bring prescriptions. But the big one with this is the dangerous stuff. Also, for some reason, hummus is considered a liquid, so be aware of that. Peanut butter is not. Also, if you have a water container, make sure you empty it out before you go through security. Otherwise, they will take it from you. But if you bring like an empty bottle, you can take it through security and fill it at a water station inside the airport. So, tips for this stuff. I usually keep electronics as well as toiletries near the top of the bag. That way it's super easy to take out in security if I need to. And there we go. Perfectly packed bag for anywhere you want to go in the world. Now, of course, passports and such, you need to keep handy. Cards, phone in the pocket. And I am a big fan of these cards. Personally, they have the lowest fees. Now, I know some of you are going to have some questions. So, in order to save myself from repeating them, I have written down the most common ones that I get. And the first one is going to be, Thor, I'm not a minimalist. Is this really going to work for me realistically? And the answer is yes. And also, you don't need to be super strict about the capsule wardrobe if you really want to bring various types of clothes. Perhaps you can make 2 capsules even that can blend a little bit. It's not like you need to take this as like scripture. You feel more than free to like take the stuff that you want from this and then adapt it to your own style. But I will say though that if you follow this to like step by step by step, you are going to save so much space. I mean, I call the title 50% more space, but realistically you can save a lot more than 50% if you follow this through. Next question I always get, and to be honest, I don't always get this on YouTube or my website, but I often get this while I'm on trips. Like they see me prancing around with this little thing on my back, 22 liters. It's not that much. And they say like, what? You can travel around with that? Is that really possible? How do you not smell? And the honest answer is that you don't, because you can wash the clothes, right? And how long can you go with this thing? What? Are you just here for a week? No, that thing, I traveled with it for 3.5 months straight. No problems at all. So how is it possible? Well, because we went through it, right? We did the layered travel capsule wardrobe, and also we mapped out exactly what activities we had planned. And that way we know that if something comes up that we haven't planned for, it's not the end of the world either. Because everywhere you go around the world, people have the same needs as you. So worst case scenario, if you arrive at the destination and you pack this style and you still manage to forget something, you can pick it up at your destination. It may not be the same brand that you're used to. It may smell a little bit differently or something like that, but it's still going to be totally fine. People stress out about this stuff way too much. Does this work with checked bags is another one I get. And yes, it does. It works the exact same way. It's just that you can be a lot more lenient with the toiletries. It's so easy. One thing to be a little bit more aware of when you're checking the bag is that they always check the weight when you put it onto the band, right, to take it in. So if the weight requirement or weight limit is 23 kilos and you have compressed everything down, just be aware. An easy thing you can do is just take your bag and hold it, and then you step onto your scale. And you note down how many kilos are on there, or like pounds, I suppose, or stone, or whatever you use, weirdos. And then you step back up, put your back down, and then you step onto the scale again, and you see how many measurement units are on there now. And then you just subtract your weight from the first weight where you held the bag, right? And then you can see exactly how much is in the bag. And I know this one is coming as well. How long does it take to go through the whole course? It is designed so that it takes under 2 hours in total, and it's step by step. Now, if you don't want to take the course, that's totally cool. You can like pick up different pieces around on the channel as well, but this is just streamlined, put step by step so that you can do it as fast as possible. It's not like these typical packing lists you see all over the YouTube either. It's like specifically designed on how to put together this process and apply it to your trip. So yeah, under 2 hours, start to finish. Another one I keep getting is this just for guys? Oh, you're a guy, it's easy for you. No, it's not. It's the same for men and women. True, women are more aware of wearing like the same outfits again and again. But the thing is, when you do this with a wardrobe, with capsule wardrobes, is that you don't wear the same outfits again and again, right? You change them so you have new outfits and new looks every day. Also accessories, so easy to add on to create an entirely new look. No, it's not just for guys at all. It gets a tiny bit different for women because you have bras and you have different underwears and certain other needs. But overall, it's basically the same thing. You can easily swap out one of the t-shirts with a thin dress or one of the pants with a skirt or something like that. It's not like men are from Mars and women are from Venus or whatever it is. No, it works totally fine for women as well. And I've taught many women how to do this. And none of them have ever complained. And they have traveled around, they have traveled compactly, lightly, and they have loved it. Zero complaints I have heard from any women. Another one I often get is from new travelers or inexperienced travelers, or perhaps people who have traveled a bit in the past, but they haven't tried to travel with my techniques. And they're worried that, is this just for like super experienced packers or like globetrotters or something like that? And the answer is no, it's not at all. It is very, very applicable for anyone. And to be honest, it might even be better to learn this if you don't have a lot of travel experience from the past, because if you already have a lot of experience, you have kind of some set methods that it may be harder to let go to follow through with my system. So it's like you start with a clean slate and you learn like the optimal way to do it from the very beginning. So no, it's perfect, it's awesome, and I highly encourage you to try this out for your trip. And lastly, yeah, I see you focus a lot on the clothes here. Is this just about clothes store? No, it's not all about clothes, but it plays in to a large degree. It becomes less about the clothes if you have activities planned. So say that you're going on, trying to come up with an example that has a lot of gear. Say you're going on a fishing trip. In that case, you may have some certain needs, right? Where you might need a fishing pole, you might need some lures, maybe some boots, I don't know, a special fishing hat if you're like that. I don't. I fish a lot too, by the way. But yeah, in that case, it becomes more about gear. And there are certain gear that you can purchase to save space. But realistically, in that case, you're not going to save the same amount of space, because gear is gear and it is hard to compress the gear without ruining it the same way as we can with clothes. But you see in the motorcycle example that I did in this video, how I did it is that I decided to forego some of the gear that I needed for the trip and instead rent it at the destination. And that kind of brought it more over to being about clothes. So really, is it all about clothes? No, but it plays a big part. So yeah.